we have a new YouTube channel, and we need you to subscribe to the new channel because we're not uploading or streaming on the old channel anymore. It's still the Voice of Stockton.
It's going to be fresh, brand new.
New content.
Great content.
Yeah.
Only exclusively on KXVS.
Yes, if you and on this video will be a link in the description where you can click it, but if you want to type it in, we made it real easy for you. You know, bit.ly, the short link, bit.ly. So you can type bit.ly/subscribe_KXVS_YouTube. So bit.ly/subscribe_KXVS_YouTube. That's easy enough, right, Donovan? Donovan is a silent minority.
Speechless.
I'm trying to get my accent right. Hold on. I'm just throwing over it in my head. Let me start. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. How to do it? All right. I don't know about you guys, but I'm gonna go subscribe to this new channel. It sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yo, what's different about this channel than the last one?
Well,
what's changed?
Well, we're making some changes. We're always doing something new, but this is something that we had to do this, and we've had to do this for a while. So this new channel, it's really not much different, except the channel will be different. So all our new content is going on the channel, and we're going to migrate all our videos over to that channel as well, and we won't be using the old channel. So if you're waiting on that channel, you'll be missing it. So please do subscribe to our new channel, and it's real easy. You know, follow us on Facebook, thevoiceofstockton.org. You can find us everywhere. Keep watching us on our live streams, but that's it. We just wanted to break in and tell you that.
And let's make Stockton better together.
That's right. Make Stockton better together. All right. So, you know what? Let's start this track over because this is the best bomb song. And thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. KXVS, the Voice of Stockton with Donovan and Mr. Details, Dustin Breakwheel. This is Governor Don signing off.
This is Darius Oliver, and you're listening to 92.1 KXVS, the Voice of Stockton.
This broadcast will start in 60 seconds. This broadcast will start in 45 seconds. This broadcast will start in 30 seconds. This broadcast will start in 15 seconds. This broadcast will start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org. This program does not reflect the views of KXVS Management or KXVS, The Voice of Stockton. Hey, do you want the details? Well, the details start right now on Stockton's only talk station, KXVS, The Voice of Stockton. It's May 10th, 2018, and it's Details with Dustin right here on KXVS, The Voice of Stockton. Welcome in to the show and to the station. If you want to learn more about the station, go to thevoiceofstockton.org and follow us all on the social media platforms. But today is a special kind of show. Before we get into what I have our guest here to talk about, but let's recap and introduce her again. Najee Murray, welcome back to the station.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How have you been?
Doing great. Happy to be home.
Happy to be home, and you're coming home from San Diego State. Your first season as a freshman down there playing for the Aztecs. How is San Diego State, and how was your first year?
I go to the best university in the world.
Best city in the world, too.
Best city in the world, absolutely. It was a great freshman year. It went by way faster than I figured, but I miss it already.
Yeah.
That's kind of how to say it all together. I do miss it. And
how was it, though, playing in the Mountain West? Was this a really underrated conference in sports?
Absolutely. Great experience, get my feet wet. Playing collegiate basketball is way different than anything I've ever done before. I ended up playing a lot more than I anticipated, doing a lot more than I had yeah, literally I planned for, and it was a great experience, and I'm very excited to take this conference for next year.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple questions about this, then we'll get to the topic while you're here this afternoon. What was the best city to visit in the Mountain West?
Okay, the least favorite was definitely Laramie, Wyoming.
Hey, go Cowboys, right?
Worst city I've ever been to in all my 19 years on Earth. And the best one, I think the most interesting, I hadn't ever been to Colorado, that part of Colorado, so I think Air Force is really cool, seeing how Air Force looks, and then obviously Las Vegas was always fun.
Those people, those student athletes, I don't know how they do it, because they're committed, they're serving our country, and they're going to school all at the same time, and doing athletics.
Absolutely. So I think that was a great. I got to see their base, and it was pretty incredible to see.
So why I have you here this afternoon is you shared your story the other day, and I saw it yesterday. I was at lunch and I was reading it after your dad told me about it. Tell the people that haven't seen the post what exactly you posted about the other night on Facebook.
It was just an encounter with a homeless man. You want it like word for word, or
not word for word, but you basically paraphrase and just tell us what happened.
I noticed him leaning on a stop sign, and I offered him a Starbucks gift card. He took it, and I drove home, and I was like, God, I have to go back to him. I don't know what was pulling me back to this man. And I turned around, and we ended up, I bought him some dinner. We sat down, we talked. He told me a story. It was emotional for the both of us. I was crying from start to finish. He started crying, and he just told me how the experience for him was more life-changing than he had ever anticipated in 20 years he's been on the street. And I think for me, it was even more than he thought it meant to me, because it was altering for my mind. Absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about his story, though? What he told you?
He was from Stockton, went to Edison High School, started working for his father, driving trucks. Something happened with the company, just like life takes it. Things turn, and he was married with children. Lost his job, got into some marital problems. Wife packed up and left the kids. He got his house was taken away, his car was taken away, and he's been homeless ever since.
And how much did that? You said you don't do that at all, really. But what made you do that night?
Yeah, I definitely go back to my religious background. I feel like God just told me, go back to this man. I was like, God, it's 10 o'clock at night. Like, this is scary for me to go back by myself. And in the cold, and it was late and dark, and yeah, that's why I went back. And I normally give homeless people food, or I hardly give cash. I do, but I very known for giving them food and stuff, and not to credit myself. It's just why not? And this one was different to me, and it was just a tug at my heart, most definitely. And so
basically, you went back after you dropped off your brother that night, and you asked him about what he wanted to eat, right?
Yeah.
And he said basically anything. And and you told him to go meet you at a restaurant, right?
Yeah. So I saw him on the street, and I said, "Are you hungry?" And he was ecstatic. He was like, "Yes, like I am." And then I was like, "Hey, walk over to Panda, and I'll drive over there and meet you." And then Panda was closed. He told me he had no teeth, so I had to figure out what to get him from Subway. So I told her, I said, stuff this sandwich as much tuna, I'll pay whatever. And she did, and he offered me half a sandwich, which was incredible. And that was where it started, and I was like, wow, this man is different. And that's where I noticed.
And you said he talked to you about basically his whole life, and he basically just, once you have a conversation, I tell people that it kind of just feels normal, and you start to talk to people.
Absolutely. And
you learn their background. And
absolutely.
How long did you talk to this man for?
About an hour, and I shared some of my life, and I shared what I was doing and where I was at, and how gracious the city's been to me, and how much I love home. And he shared the same love for the city, which caught me off guard, because we have had two incredibly different experiences in Stockton, and he loved it just as much as I did, and that was that got me.
And you talk about the love of the city, which I love the city too, because I was born in Stockton, but I didn't grow up here. I grew up like 30 minutes away. But Stockton gets a bad rap, I think.
Absolutely.
And people don't really know, if you're not from around here, Stockton is actually a great place. And
incredible.
And it's such a small town, but a big city also. And what do you tell people, though? You're at San Diego State now. When people on campus, you meet them basically, and you tell them where you're from. You say Stockton, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I say Stockton, and their reactions vary.
Yeah.
Some people are like, "Whoa, no way, you're from Stockton," or they say like, "I've never heard of that city before." So they either really know and they think they know too much, or they don't know. And I always tell them like, I guess you don't really know unless you're from here. And I feel like I have friends out in San Diego from Stockton too, and they're always like, I try to tell people, but they don't get it. We only know.
Yeah.
We only know what it's like here, and it's only been great to me, and the opportunities the city's given me are off the charts.
If you look at the population ranks, this city's almost bigger than the city of Cincinnati, which has a pro sports team, two pro sports teams.
Absolutely.
And people don't realize it because it's basically a cluster of little pockets around the region. But when people say that, what do you think the city or people in Stockton could do better to make the image basically brighten, as your story kind of did the other night?
Yeah, I feel like for a city that is so known for crime or so known for how boring it is and all these things, I feel like we also have the people who can change this area, who have power to change, who are known nationally to change and give people opportunities. And I feel like if it can start with me, someone like me who doesn't have a job, doesn't have an income, who's doing all this, I feel like we have people in the city who can really change this thing around, and that's where we have to start with. To start with taking care of our own.
And where I think we should start taking care of our own, as your story said, homeless people. And we know we have a big problem in Stockton, and I believe around California, we need to do better at helping the homeless. And if you look at places here in Stockton, or even Sacramento has a homeless problem, Los Angeles has a homeless problem, what would you tell public officials and ask people our generation, 18 to 25, what they can do to help people who are struggling?
I feel like I was just thinking before I got here, I was putting my shoes on. I was like, I could sell 4 pair of the shoes I don't want and make almost $1,000 just that quick.
Yeah.
And that $1,000 can change that man, David, I met's life in a heartbeat. And I feel like that's me selling a pair of shoes. So for those who can graciously give and graciously, just take a minute out of their day to give someone a sandwich could change their whole life. And I feel like I know we have to start with the homeless population in the city and not judge, because who are we to assume their stories?
Yeah, because everybody has a unique story, and
absolutely
everybody has a different background. Absolutely. That's what people need to realize, that hey, we might be different skin colors or different people, but we all have one goal in common, and that's to make this place better.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what people need to realize, is the way we can change Stockton or any city you're from is basically helping the community. And that's why I volunteer so many hours at places like here and other places. But you also said this man, David, he had a unique story too with his cell phone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I was walking out Subway, and I was like, he's looking down. I was like, man, is he asleep? And I was like, he had a phone in his hand. He was playing a game, and I was like, where'd you get the phone? He's like, I found it. And I was like, well, how do you charge it? Where do you charge it? And he says he knows a friend who lives at the motel, who can afford a motel per night, and he just charges it in the back of the motel, in either using the outlet in the back of the building or in one of their vans, and like that thing. And I helped him download some other games that he really couldn't figure out how to do it, and I helped him figure that out. But yeah, that he was excited to tell me, he was excited to show me his games, and that was one of the things that made me cry again.
And you're even getting emotional right now about it. Why do you think you said spirituality kind of like you think led you to that night? And do you think you needed it that night?
I believe so. I came home and I've been bored. I work out in the morning and I have nothing to do all day, and my friends in college aren't home yet, and my friends in high school are in class all day, so I don't have anything to do all day. And I was like asking God, like, what am I supposed to? Why am I here? You know, I can be in San Diego, I can be anywhere. I was trying to figure out, what am I doing here, and I figured it out. And David was my he was like my saving grace to show me why I'm here for these 2 months, what I'm going to do these 2 months. I'm going to get this man back on his feet. I'm going to help, if he can find anybody else who he knows and wants to get back on their feet. I figured out my goal. I figured out why I'm here this next 2 months, and I figured out, and God showed me David with reason. I think David needed me, because apparently to David, I was his angel, and I think he was mine. And
you spoke to him for about an hour, and it was a lengthy conversation. You
Absolutely.
said, but you're going to stay in contact with him more?
Absolutely. I've seen him already since I've been home.
Yeah.
It was very quick. I've been going to look for him, but I can never catch him. You know, I never know when he's going to be there. It's only been like 3 days.
Yeah.
I waved to him in passing, because I was actually going to pick up someone, but I waved, and I was like, David, come back tomorrow, and he said, okay. So hopefully I catch him again today. But once I sit down with him in person, and I'm going to figure out how to. I want to figure out where he lives. I want to see where he's located. He lives in a tent underneath the freeway. So my dad is willing to help me as well. You know, bring him clothes. And we have so much to give, and you don't realize how much you have to give until you realize. You kind of look. I looked in my room and I was like, I don't need 85% of the stuff in my room. So who can use it better than me?
Well, I'm going to share Najee's post on the station's page, and hopefully will help David, because I think it's a great story, and I think it's a great thing of giving back, and that's what I think a lot of people nowadays don't realize, that if you give back, it's good karma, as people would say, and it helps you from basically, it helps you, I believe, in the future. So, so this story, how much has people reached out to you because of what you shared the other night?
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be anything like the way it came out.
Yeah. I know, because I know you and I know your dad. And
yeah.
When your dad told me about it, I was like, okay, I saw somebody mention it on social media, but I'll go look at it today. And I sat down yesterday. I'm like, wow. And I texted your dad right away. Can we get Najee in here?
Yeah, it was just, I was just sharing it. It was just for my Facebook friends first. It was very private. I was just trying to share it with people. I wanted people to know. I wanted people to know that's real. And then someone commented and said, I can't share it. And I was like, okay, well, I don't even know how to get
settings. It's difficult. Even I know, and I know technology a little bit.
And I was like, okay, well, so I figured out my mom helped me figure out how to share it. And it blew up, and people are sharing it, and people are texting and reaching out. People are commenting. I'd never met before in my life, and I feel like that wasn't my intention. I didn't want any publicity from it. I didn't want anyone. My goal was to just share that we have so much power that we don't know, and for everyone who commented on my Facebook status, has a cell phone, a computer, all this access that they can help me and help me help others, and then a teaching lesson for everybody. I think is what is more so. I learned a lot from it, and it was a reflection for me. And I feel like it can be a reflection for anybody else.
Can we talk about that real quick, a teaching moment? What do you think the teaching moment was, and how do you think people, like your generation, my generation, were basically the same age, kind of years apart, but a couple years apart, how do you think the younger generation basically should help people, and what's our impact? Because people are saying this generation can do so much, but we're starting to do that, but we really haven't achieved it, I think, in my mind.
No. Reflection for sure. I remember days where I would complain or something, and I would remember, like, I'd be in San Diego complaining, like, I'm not paying for a dime of school. I'm sitting here with all the food in the world. I have my phone, my computer, my clothes are worth more than anything, and I can go to a store and buy anything I want. And I was like, why am I complaining? What do I have to complain about? And this man was sitting there telling me he lives like a king, and I was like, wow, like, you live like a king, then I must be, I don't know what I'm living like then. And that made me think about it. And for my generation specifically, like, we are known for these first world problems, in a sense of complaining about, oh, my phone died. Well, that's okay. You have access to a phone, and I feel like we have to take heed to that and kind of look ourselves in the mirror, and that's what David did for me. Yeah, and
this thing in my hand, basically the cell phone, it's a powerful machine nowadays, and people don't even realize it, because we do realize it because we see people get in trouble every day, Kanye West. Basically, the power of the send button is huge, and we saw that with your post and sharing it and basically writing this long paragraph. And what's something else you want to, though, like basically you said that we could do so much, and you saw David basically telling you he's living like a king. What did he mean by that?
He actually used some pretty deep comparisons. He talked about Somalia, and he's like, a woman in Somalia has 8 kids, and she witnesses her kids get blown up, and then he compared to people getting diagnosed with cancer, and he used all these things that are very, very deep and true, worse than his. And then he's like, I'm living like a king compared to them. I'm alive. I'm healthy. I struggle, but I'm healthy. And then that's where I was like, wow, like, this man lives under a tent. And I gave him that sandwich. That was his first meal the whole day. And he told me he lived like a king. And that, again, I started crying because I was just, sitting there. And I told him in the post, I actually mentioned my shorts and my shoes. And I was driving my own car, and I looked down and I was like, David, my shorts on my body are worth $75. My shoes are almost $200. And you're telling me to live like a king. And I'm wearing clothes and shoes that I do not need, that are way overpriced, that I bought. And that was like, I sat him, I was like, wow, you are just incredible. And that's where I kind of started to fall in love with his personality and who he was, because coming from someone who like that, who we always look down upon, who told me he lives like great and God has taken good care of him, as I quote, he said that to me. And I feel like anyone can reflect on that. I don't care who you are.
I think it's a thing in our minds where we think we're driving by somebody and we see them homeless, sometimes we overlook it, and we kind of think, why are they asking for money at an intersection? And we're like, we don't realize it till maybe a little while later that they're just like us. And
Absolutely.
basically after that stoplight, they're like, you realize, like, man, this guy's like us, or this lady's like us, and you double take real quick.
Absolutely do.
You told him you want to be an FBI agent, and basically, but do you want to give back to your community, no matter where you live in the future? And basically, Stockton's your home, we know that, but do you want to give back to this community also?
Absolutely. No matter where I go, I feel like my heart will always be here in the city. It's given so graciously to me. It's given me more opportunity. It's given me best friends. My family lives here. I went to the greatest high school in the nation, in the world. I played for the best coach. I had my teammates. My high school was incredible to me. So my heart will always be here. I will always come back here. I will always put the city first, no matter where I go. And the FBI will take me wherever it has to take me. But my heart will always be here, and I will always want to give back to the city, no matter where I go. And I've only been gone for not even a year yet, and I feel like I owe the city so much.
Najee, thank you for coming by this afternoon, evening. But I want to know more about the story, so I'm going to keep in contact with you. And I see your dad every other day, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But I'll find out about David. But is there anything last you want to say about basically how people can help people, and it's okay to basically help somebody who they're not going to hurt you, and they're just asking for help? Yeah,
it's a good point, actually. I would like to mention this, actually. Yeah. Never felt endangered, never felt worried, never felt threatened at all sitting with this man. People were walking by, and some man actually asked me if I was okay, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, that's my friend. And David started laughing. I was like, it's my friend David. And I feel like, and I mentioned in my post that David told me that he hasn't felt like a human being in 15 years. He said he hadn't felt like he mattered. He hadn't felt like a person. Again, he thanked me for making him feel like a person. And it took me $7 and an hour of my day to make this man's 15 years reverse back around. And if that's all it takes, if 10 people go talk to 10 homeless people, we could reverse 200 years, if you add them all up, of how many people, 15 years, it took me an hour of my day, 15 years, this man hasn't felt like a human being. And then I decided, I asked him how he feels, how his story, I asked him how his day was, and he was emotional, and he was thanking me for making him feel like a person. And I feel like we have that power. We don't even know how much power we possess. And I feel like we need to go use that in the best way possible.
Najee Murray, thank you for joining me this afternoon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. So I'm going to share the story on our Facebook page after the show later today. And if you want more details with Dustin, stay tuned, and we're going to give you guys updates throughout this whole journey with Najee and David, because I think it's a great story that people need to realize that giving back does help our community. So you've been listening to KXVS, The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys very soon right here on KXVS.